East Tennessee State's men's basketball team has just won their biggest regular season game in 29 years. Hi, everybody. I'm Marky Bilson, and yes, last night's 74-63 victory against Louisiana State, who earlier this year had been ranked as high as 22nd in the AP poll, is the biggest regular season victory for the Bucaneers since the program defeated NC State 94-91. That was back at the end of 1990 in front of more than 12,000 people at the Mini Dome, and that was a huge game. I think maybe the greatest sporting event ever in Johnson City, Tennessee. Les Robinson had come back against the team that he had built. It was the player who who ended his college career as the all-time college basketball assist maker, Chris Corchiani of NC State, and who was number two? Mr. Jennings of ETSU back in the time. Corchiani was the first player to get more than 1,000 assists in a college basketball career. But that victory 29 years ago paved the way for East Tennessee State's first ever national ranking. This season, there stands to be a good bet that it could be their second ever national ranking. Now, it won't happen this week. Too many teams to jump over. LSU, for instance, had three others receiving, but they got 3 votes for the top 25 poll. So if you're thinking that, hey, Tennessee lost to Cincinnati, could they fall out of the AP poll? Yes, but it won't be the Buccaneers that'll replace them. Still, though, the next 5 games for ETSU are against Cleveland State, who have lost 4 in a row and are 4-8 overall, Cannon Fodder, Mars Hill, and then some toughies in the Southern Conference, Wofford, Furman, and North Carolina, Greensboro. What this victory could have done is finally made the SoCon a 2-bid league. But before we get to that, if ETSU can win these next 5 games, I look for a top 25 ranking to happen again for the Buccaneers. Now, one thing I just mentioned here about this game, I was not surprised that ETSU dominated the boards. They had they got 19 more offensive rebounds than LSU. LSU, all things considered, is kind of short. They don't have any players taller than 6'9". Yeah, that's really short, well, in basketball circles. The only 7-footer that was in the game was Lucas Gasson, and it really did show. And, of course, Jerome Rodriguez, power forward of ETSU, is really one of the best rebounders in the country. He led the Bucks with 10 rebounds in the victory against LSU. But what I thought made him a complete player was when it was revealed in the box score he had 5 assists, including a very memorable one to Gasson, who dunked home the basket that gave ETSU a 20-point lead in the second half. That pretty much clinched the game. I thought that of all the things that you could take from that game that were a positive for ETSU, Rodriguez's 5 assists proved that he was a complete player that can take ETSU far. Of course, also with Patrick Good, his outstanding shooting, 5 for 9 from beyond the 3-point arc, 19 points against the Tigers. It's proven that ETSU is going to be tough to beat, but we've known that. They tend to rise and fall with the shooting abilities of Patrick Good. So, a national ranking for ETSU, again, it could very well happen. I'm Marky Bilson.